show today is our eastern box turtle, a native to Indiana. You'll see them commonly in Brown County about this time. So first things first, I'm going to refer to this box turtle as a he. That's because I know for a fact this is a male box turtle. I know that for two reasons. Firstly, if you look at his beautiful eyes, he has this bright red, crimson colored eye. By the way, if you can't see, I'm going to walk around with him later. You'll be able to feel a shell, and I can point out some of these little features. But he has this bright red colored eye. That is only a feature of male box turtles. Female box turtles will have a darker brown, duller colored eye. And if you look at the bottom part of the shell, turtle shells are in two parts. Informally, the top and bottom. More scientifically, the top is called the carapace, and the bottom is called the plastron. If you look at his plastron, it's got this dip in. It's a concave plastron. That was also only a feature of male box turtles. Females will have a flat bottom of their shell. Another cool fact about our box turtle shell, if you look right here, if I pull him up a little bit, he has this dark line under his shell right on the secret is. The box turtle has what's called a hinged plastron, meaning when he gets scared, he cuts his arm and head into his shell, and this bottom part here shuts up against the top and seals along here, closing like a box, giving the box turtle its name. While we're talking about his shell, and while he's pulling it out next to us here, you see he's got these little feet. You can see he has these long, hard nails, and his feet aren't webbed. And he has this high shell, kind of like a cheeseburger shape. If we compare that to our other turtles here, those can't see, this is a pond slider, a model of one. You see its shell is a little bit more flat. If you look on its feet, it's got these wide webbed feet. And as we keep going on to the right here, we have our common snapping turtle, or our common and alligator snapping turtle. Also have that flat shell shape and wide feet. This little goofy guy right here is a spiny softshell turtle. You know, it has an extreme of these features. Very wide, flat shell and big paddle feet. One not native to Indiana, you'll see here, is a sea turtle. Once again, we see that same pattern, an even flatter shell, even broader paddle-shaped feet. So if you couldn't tell, going from left to right here, we're getting from less aquatic to more aquatic. Meaning over here, we spend more time in the water, till we get to the sea turtle, where it's almost exclusively in the water, only coming out to lay eggs. While pond sliders can come in and out of water, they'll eat and spend most life in water, but can come out and bask in the sun and eat. Our eastern box turtle here is what's called a terrestrial turtle, meaning he is going to sit at this far opposite extreme end. He prefers to, the habitat you see around you right now are dry hilltops, woodlands. He's adapted with these claws to go up and under logs, sticks, crawl around the dirt for his grubs. So he is not supposed to be a great swimmer. They can swim. The big difference between their swimming is that a pond slider turtle can dive up and down in the water to hit the bottom. The box turtle, when he swims, he just floats at the top. He paddles around with his arms. If you look in our feature singer, we have another box turtle in there that for some reason is very weird and loves to swim. Don't know why, he's just a big box turtle. You'll see when he swims, he'll just paddle around at the surface. He won't dive down.
Oh my.
But sadly, I have to share one fact of our eastern box turtles, that they are vulnerable in the state of Indiana, meaning that they're not endangered, but they have a high risk of becoming endangered in the future. And there are two reasons for that. Firstly, a lot of people like me look at our box turtles and I think they're really cute. And if you do it the right way, you think they're cute where they are. And you leave them in our forest, leave them in their habitat. But some people look at a box turtle and go, that's a cute pet, it's probably pretty easy to take care of, and they take it out of the environment.
Oh no.
You should not do that at all. Any wild animal should stay in the wild, especially a box turtle like this. Well, firstly, box turtles live for a very long time. About 80 to 100 years old, box turtles can be. And I have seen turtles given away in people's wills before. I can almost guarantee your kids or even grandkids do not want to deal with your pet turtle. Secondly,
I want to pet
you guys, I know it's time to clean that tank in there when I walk by and catch a whiff of it. Box turtles, I've known people who've kept them in rooms with carpet, and that carpet still smells years after that box turtle. So they're not very pet-friendly animals, and if you take a box turtle out of its environment, you can't really put it back after a certain period of time. Firstly, box turtles have a very small home range, about 2 football fields. And that is it. They'll live their entire life in that 2 football field range. And if you take them out of that range and put them in a new one, they don't know where they're at. They know they're not home. So what they're going to do is from where you set them down at, they're going to do it's kind of like spiraling. They'll start moving in bigger and bigger circles, trying to find a territory where they came from. And this has become dangerous. They won't be hiding from predators as much. They won't be looking for food as much. And if you do this really late in the season, around the wintertime, they won't brumate. I mean, they're kind of hibernation in the winter. This becomes a stressful or even deadly experience for our box turtles. With that long lifespan, they also don't reproduce very much. They'll reach maturity in about 10 years, which is pretty long on the animal scale. And they'll have about 3 to 10 eggs in a clutch. So, don't keep them as pets, is rule number 1. The other biggest threat is what's called roadside mortality, or motor mortality. That basically means as we develop into their habitat, we're putting roads, streets, cars, and other things in the environment they live in, and they won't change that little home range to 2 football fields. So as stuff changes, they just have to deal with it. And that includes crossing roads. If I show you the left side, the little box turtle here, you can see that he does not have his front or back left feet, and he has lost his left eye right here. So what's happened and how we got this box turtle is he was crossing the road, someone didn't see him or thought they could move around him, and actually hit him with their car. And with that car coming, they try to pull their legs in, sometimes they're not fast enough, and they got squished between the tire, the shell, and his leg, and he lost those feet. But he was running over there, and he's made full recovery as he can. He can eat fine, move around fine. He's going to have an overall normal turtle lifespan. He cannot be reintroduced in a while because of how long he's been in captivity. After a certain amount of time, turtles can even have some diseases and bacteria only cultivated in captivity that you don't want to reintroduce into the wild. So the way you can help with that is if you see a box turtle about to cross the road, and if it's safe for you to do so, you can pull off and help them cross with a few rules. Firstly, let's say he's crossing this table this way to over here, and he's facing this way. What you want to do is you want to come out and stand behind him, see where he is facing, and pick him up like a hamburger using 2 hands very delicately. He is used to being held, so he knows what we're doing. He's looking at you, kicking his feet. A wild box turtle, you're going to walk up to it and it's going to duck in his shell really quick. It'll be easier to move. When you pick him up, hold him with 2 hands, but hold them away from you. Another defense mechanism for the box turtle is called musking, which is basically food and keep peeing on you until you go away. And it smells very bad and it's hard to get out of close. So I wouldn't carry it like this, but like this. I'll hold it a little further away and move it across the road in the direction it is moving. You don't want to turn it around or move it back, because it knows where it wants to go, and it's going to turn around and go right back across the road again, and you haven't solved anything. That also makes sure you don't remove it from that small home range, because you know where it's going, it's going to stay within its home range. What you should not do, as a horror story I've been told, when the lady thought she was helping, she saw a turtle, probably a box turtle, picked it up, put it in her car, and drove it to a pond near her house. You do not want to move it out of that home range. I can almost guarantee you it was. And as we say, the box turtles are not swimming turtles, they're terrestrial turtles. We want rocky hilltops like this, not wet road ponds. So now, if you guys are interested, I'm going to walk around with him and you can pet his shell. I do have to just use 2 fingers and go gently down his back. I'm going to start with this side. Go around. If you have any questions, you can ask while I'm walking around. See, I will say, some people think that the turtle shell is just a hard shield that just wraps around the turtle, which is a role it plays, but it can actually feel your fingers on its shell. What the shell is, for the carapace, it's a growth of its spine, and for the plastron, a growth of its ribs. You can kind of think of a turtle as an animal wrapped in its own rib cage, which is kind of weird to think about. But that means it can feel the pressure of your fingers on its shell. So you can see this, if you look at a turtle's skeleton, the shell is actually white like the rest of its bones. What gives it this bright color is a thin layer of keratin, the same stuff that makes up your fingernails. So our box turtle doesn't have a name. We don't want the public to think of these as pets. He is a wild animal that just happens to live inside your round and fed by us and owned by you. So you can kind of think of his first name Eastern, last name box turtle.